Coming up, a Sad Styles production. Get into it.
Oh, man. Well, speaking of Cumberbun, you know,
he's going to win the Oscar.
Cumberbatch would be my favorite Batman. Could you imagine him as Batman?
I could, because he could do that great New York accent he has for Doctor Strange. I am Stephen Strange. I am born and raised in New York. You're like, what? Is this guy an alien?
Would you like a bagel?
Yes. I like a good schmear on this bagel.
I can also do cowboy. Would you like to see me masturbate in a stream?
I am walking here. Hey ho.
Welcome to the Retrograde
podcast, where we remind you what you used to love and whether or not you still should.
My name's Andrew Bascom, and with me as always is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself.
I'm Mikey Aaronworth.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's the justice. That's Mikey Aaronworth. And we today are going to be talking everything Batman.
Oh, sorry, what?
I know, this is
you
shocking.
Just make my day, Andrew?
I know. It's like every other podcast, except we're supposed to talk about Batman this time.
Yeah, it was supposed to. Man, I can't wait for the Overwatch movie.
Oh my goodness. Let's not avoid it any longer. With us, as always, is our good friend and also local Toronto legend. I think we can just keep passing that title around here.
Absolutely.
Is Dario Petruzzi. Dario, how are you doing?
I am great.
Yes.
I am always here. Thank you for saying I'm always here. I'm always, tucked in the wastebasket. Yeah. It is great to guys, thanks for having me.
Oh my God, our
pleasure to have you. Similar to when we had Riley Little on recently, episode I think 199 or 198, something like that.
Now I gotta start remembering the names.
Now we gotta start remembering the numbers.
Yeah.
Only in and around those milestones. We had him on for Banjo-Kazooie, and we had to because there was no one I could talk Banjo-Kazooie with because prior to playing it on that episode, Andrew hadn't had experience playing it, really dropping the ball, both to me and to the listeners. Now with Batman coming out,
here we go.
I mean, as of the time that this episode drops, Batman has already swept his way through the theaters.
Yes.
So we're going to have a very heavy Batman focused episode. And Dario, you are a bit of a Riddler in that sense.
Oh my.
An enigma, you might say.
Bit of a Paul Dano.
Paul Dano.
A gimpy Paul Dano. I love the bat.
You're a bathead.
I'm a bat head.
Yeah.
I'm a Batman. I think my whole body is embodied in Batman, not just the head portion of me.
I think you can just go bat and then your favorite, noun or possessive. I don't know. Wait, whoa. What is
possessive?
No, wait. It's a noun? It's a noun.
Mikey's looking up what a noun is.
Yeah, Mikey's looking up what a noun is.
I'm not going to do that because I don't want to have to learn that. You know what I mean? Ignorance is bliss.
Urban Dictionary. Why are you doing
syntax and all that stuff? But listen, if you're out there listening, first of all, thanks for joining us. Secondly, typically what we do on the podcast is take a look back at the games that we used to play when we were kids. Usually it's something we've had an affinity towards one way or another. We rate and review the game as we remember it back when we played it. Then we play the game and rate and review it as it holds up in the modern day against the likes of modern games. Each rating's out of 4 bits for each of us. And the total of that cumulatively is our Retrograde, hence the name of the podcast. And today's game is going to be Batman Returns. Now, Batman Returns for the Super Nintendo is a game that I don't have any particular memory of, and that's because all of my memories of Batman games are kind of blended together in this soup. Notoriously, they weren't very good prior to the Arkham games, so we think. However, this game, if you go back and look at it, it's made some top 100 lists.
Wow.
It's
top 100 of what?
Of Super Nintendo games.
Okay.
And occasionally, it's claimed to be the best licensed game on the Super Nintendo.
It made top 100 of Batman games.
Batman games.
And
Yeah,
you're like,
sometimes.
Mikey repeated, but I just want to say, we have not seen the Batman yet.
Not yet.
So by the time we're recording this, we have not been able to see the Batman yet. We will be doing an episode at patreon.com/Retrograde Podcast for our Mushroom Club. We're going to talk all about it. So just, if you're listening to this, don't worry, you haven't seen it. We're not spoiling anything. We haven't seen it either.
And if you're confused as to why we didn't do our typical 100 episode breakdown retrograde-spective of the past 100 games that we did and talk about some of the reviews and the highs and lows and those great moments. We actually did that, but we launched it over on patreon.com/Retrograde Podcast.
Yes.
So do that. Now we tell you that we're talking about that game this week, but really what we want to do is talk in general about Batman and video games today. That's going to be the focus. And Dario, that's why you're on. Tell us, what is your history with the cloaked bat himself.
I fucked him one time.
Oh, wow.
I fucked him.
Whoa. Mikey Vale over here.
It's fine. It's fine.
Did he take his mask off?
No, you keep on the cowl.
Okay, good. And by mask, I mean condom.
Yes, I was going to say.
Very, very respectful.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, it had little like bat ribs on it.
Oh,
it was a
whoa.
batarang. It hurt a lot.
It would be very tactical. It would be a very tactical condom.
Yes.
It would.
It was a belt with also a condom.
Yes, incredibly efficient, gets exactly to the point, and then out. You know what I mean? He's the detective. He always has a plan for everybody, right?
Yes, he knows
Including
exactly
how to make you
get
come.
off.
Yes.
I figured it out. Swear to me.
Superman could never.
Are you when you think Batman? Because I think it's become 1,000 different things Batman has. You're either a fan of the video games, or a fan of the movies, or a fan of the comics, a fan of the original animated series. There's so many ways you can be a Batman fan. None of them have to be directly related either, because they all feel very different, even within those mediums. Is there a particular style of Batman that you relate to the most?
Bat Stan.
Bat Stan, baby.
Yep. Thank you.
I want to say, I feel like the Batman Detective is like my jam.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I feel like the Batman is going to be great for me. Like Long Halloween is my favorite
Love Long
graphic
Halloween.
novel from that man's.
Yes.
And
Did you see the movie, the animated movie of it?
Didn't,
Yeah.
because the last Batman animated movie I saw, I went to theaters to see it, and that's the one where he sleeps with Batgirl.
Oh, was that? Wait, which one was that? The animated one, not the Dark Knight Returns?
I don't know.
Wow,
I just remember being in the theater and like it was a lot of white nerds.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, this is going to be great. And then they sleep together and everybody's like, wait, what?
I didn't even know they showed these animated ones in theaters.
Yeah.
I always find them when I'm high on my couch at like 2 a.m.
Yes. Mikey's been desperately looking for more and to share it with more people. Is your favorite one's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle one, right?
That's up there. That's up there. It is a fantastic crossover, and you either like it or you don't. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I mean, Mask of the Phantasm is fantastic, but I think Hush is probably my favorite of those. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but
I've read it.
I've read it. There you go.
I'm a literary man. You know that.
I don't know. I don't know how to read, but I look at the pictures, and boy, do they look good.
They're great.
Boy, do they look
I was
good.
thinking about it because Batman has been in comics with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have been in Power Rangers, and so canonically, the Power Rangers and Batman live in the same world. That's very interesting to me. Yeah.
I would imagine that Batman does not like the Power Rangers.
No,
It can't be.
too showy.
Too showy,
Yeah.
flashy, too young.
Yeah.
Notoriously the young kids he keeps around, which that's a whole other conversation we can get into.
Yeah.
But they always leave because he doesn't treat them like adults.
Yes, or die.
Or they die.
Or they
he lets
die.
them die. He lets them die. Robin, the tragic figure. So you mentioned Long Halloween as maybe your favorite property. What about the video games? Did you play the Arkham ones?
I played all the Arkham ones.
Yeah.
But like you, it's kind of like this super soup now.
Yes.
Of like, I don't know. At one point, the Joker scares the shit out of you. You climb on a roof and he's just there and he's your conscience. And I remember that specifically.
Yes.
And
That's in Arkham City.
It's the last one.
Arkham Knight. Sorry, Arkham Knight.
It's the last one because he's in your blood at that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the one before that, I remember when he turns into like the Super Shredder, he takes all the stuff.
Yes.
Right.
And you had to fight like a super tank of a Joker.
That's the end of, I think, Arkham City, I believe. That's the one you actually kill him.
You kill him.
Yeah.
Which is interesting for the canon of Batman, that you kill the Joker.
Yes.
I'm sorry. The jump scare I always think about is when Bat Thing comes out,
Yes.
you're climbing you're taking your, I don't know, whatever, grappling gun up to the top, and he just pops out from the top and screams at you.
There's the Bat creature.
I've never come back from that.
What's that thing called? It's called the Bat Thing?
Isn't it? What is it called?
No, it's based on, there's actually in the animated series, I can't remember the name. It may be something like Bat Thing, but there was a scientist trying to, who was obsessed with the DNA of bats and tried to, thought that if they injected themselves, it would make a better human race. But then it was like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing.
What a terrible.
Essentially.
You know what's so funny? There's a slight spoiler for No Way Home, but when some of the villains are getting together, they're talking about how they all became villains, and the guy's like, "Yeah, I fell into a pool of electric eels," and he's like, "Yeah, we got to watch where we step." And it was like, "Oh, I like that we just plow through the idea." Well, that's insane. I know. Oh, okay. And the same thing of you know what? I love bats. I'm going to become a bat, and he's a doctor, and no one's like, you know what? I don't know, Derek. I don't think that's a good idea.
Well,
Man.
his wife was not a fan.
Yeah.
And his wife is eventually the one who sells him out to Batman because they're like, listen, this is really ironic, but I'm coming to Batman to help my bat thing of a husband.
I need Batman to help Batman.
I wanted it to be like you, and he just went full bat.
Yeah.
Sorry. I told him to be like Batman in bed. And
this is all organic advertising for Morbius coming out soon with Jared Leto, where he becomes kind of obsessed with bats also and becomes a vampire.
True? I didn't realize.
It's been on the shelf for like a year. Yeah. It's been finished. It makes me think one day we're going to see it on Disney Plus very fast or something like that.
Oh, like it's just not going to be that great.
Sony's desperately trying to, well, what am I doing talking about Spider-Man here? But desperately trying to build out that canon because they're like, hey, Marvel's like taking our bag. So they're trying to build it out and it's just not working. So
Andrew's just jealous that there's a guest once again and he's not relating to the topic at hand of Batman.
Here's everything I have to say about Spider-Man.
Guys,
you picked a good time to bring it up.
Why do we act like I don't like Batman?
Do you actually, like, you always make fun of me for my obsession with it, so I just assume that you kind of
your obsession's hilarious, but is it, I like Batman. I've seen every movie. I've played all the video games. I've read lots of the comics. So I don't know where the hell you start painting me as a guy that doesn't like Batman.
Well, it's usually when someone makes fun of someone else for liking a certain thing. That's when it starts.
Yeah, and you were like, well, I don't know. Bat people sound
that sounds a bit better
that's that's true. That is me. I don't like that about Batman. He should be more inclusive.
Of all, because I can ask both of you this because I know you've both played all the games, but of the Arkham series, do you have a favorite one?
Arkham City.
Arkham City?
Arkham City. I really liked Arkham City. I think
that was the second one.
That's the second one. I think once they start getting into the Batmobile, that's a little unsuccessful. And it becomes a huge part of the actual device of storytelling and to move the plot along.
It legitimately adds 5 to 8 hours to the game.
Yeah.
Is Batmobile stuff.
I feel like it's one of those things where you think you want to drive the Batmobile.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah.
And then you drive it and you're like, this is the worst fucking thing I've ever done.
Yeah. I am very much an apologist. That's in Arkham Knight that it's introduced. Very much an apologist. I actually kind of enjoyed those segments.
Wow.
It was, but I treated it like it was like a puzzle game. Like, in BioShock, how you have to unlock safes and stuff, and you have that weird puzzle where you have the liquid going through and you got to like pipe dream kind of. It was almost like that for me, where it's like, okay, here's a set area. I'm in the Batmobile and I got to deal with a couple things coming at me. I didn't really have to upgrade it because I found them relatively easy, but as a palate cleanse, I actually found that it kind of works.
Wow.
That's not to say that Arkham Knight was my favorite Batman game though. Arkham Asylum was my favorite one. Yeah. And it's full of warts. I get that. But I do appreciate that it was the first of its kind. Right. It did a lot of things a lot of games weren't doing at that point in time. Yes, you spent the whole game in detective mode, like the vision, which is atrocious.
I think if I close my eyes, I still see it.
Yes.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
But this was the first time where you're like, literally just about every villain in Batman is there in some capacity. Cool. And it felt like it was tailored to the fan instead of the person who knows the name Batman and because they've seen the Christopher Nolan movies and is therefore going to watch or want to play the game.
I'm glad we're going to talk about the Nolan movies because like Batman as a cinematic thing has gone through so many ups and downs, and video games mostly downs. Yes. Like it was one of those ones where until the Arkham Asylum games came out, you didn't really feel like you had played Batman, and in a lot of ways, people didn't feel the older movies were aging poorly, and Joel Schumacher ran the Batman series into the ground, and that's where we had Batman and Robin and things like that. And that's when Nolan came around. You're like, ooh, like here we go. So I think it was kind of Arkham Asylum came out at a good time where you're like, oh wait, real Batman.
Yes,
like it felt like you're the version of something that you'd wanted to
reminding you of the original source material in a way that I had thought that even with like the Tim Burton movies, it kind of really went away from that. It was a stylized version of the source material in a way that we now kind of look at as canon for good reason. But I do like the wackiness of like Tweedledee and Tweedledum being there. You're like, fucking great. All the weird ass characters, the Mad Hatter.
It was nice to like see like, oh, there's Solomon Grundy. There's Calendar Man. There's
Calendar
Man.
Calendar Man, right? You know what's funny though about the Burton films, and like maybe I'm an apologist for them, but is that is the version of Gotham that Tim Burton produced is like my favorite thing. Like I love that Gotham. I think it's so cool and Art Deco and like, I'm absolutely obsessed with that. And now we have like, obviously Heath Ledger, really fell into that role. And now we have Paul Dano who's like, yeah, I couldn't sleep for like 2 weeks after playing the Riddler. And you're like, Jack Nicholson's like, I can't shoot on Lakers games. Okay. All right. What am I doing here? All right. Pay me up. I love it.
I kind of hate when actors say that.
I hate it.
Fucking way. There's no fucking way. What are you talking
I couldn't
about?
sleep. Like try rolling over on the other side of the money. What do you want me to do, man?
You weren't the Joker, right? Come on,
You're in a mask the whole movie. What are you talking about?
Oh, it drives me crazy. I feel like sometimes it's rationalizing acting, where it's like,
Yes.
I got paid $15 million to do what? I couldn't sleep for a while.
Yes.
It's like, well, I know, man, it's tough life. Huh?
Well, listen, I've been rationalizing a lot of time spent in a game that makes me absolutely fucking furious lately. And thankfully, I have a guest here that I can talk to about it as well. Because Andrew, maybe we can convince you to give this one a shot. It's Elden Ring. Elden Ring, the FromSoft game, is now just over a week old if you're listening to this the day it comes out. And boy, oh boy, those who doubted that From Software was a mainstream company, this is a mainstream game.
Absolutely.
Everybody I know is playing it or aware of it or is adjacent to it in some way. Dario, do you have any? I know you're playing Elden Ring. Do you have experience with FromSoft games prior to this?
Nope.
Okay.
What was your first one?
My first one.
Wow.
And I got it out of peer pressure. People were like, hey, you should buy this game. It sucks. I was like, okay. I'm in. And so I bought it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sucks, but in a really fun way.
Wow. Okay, elaborate on this. Okay,
So
I need more.
I have I am an old man. I am like dust at this point. I don't remember a time where I played a game where I get like just abused.
Right.
All
Like the
night.
old
So
arcade style, the old SNES style.
I was up till 2:30 one night.
Wow.
Trying to slay this thing that looks like a half a cat, half a dog.
the grave watcher.
It's a grave watcher. It's a
One of the first
tip
mini
my
bosses
tongue.
in the game. Yeah.
Grave watcher.
And I was up till 2:30 and I was like, this can't be a real video game. I couldn't do it. I
elaborate
couldn't
prank.
do it. I went to bed. I saw it when I closed my eyes. I woke up. I was a child. I grabbed cereal. I grabbed my lucky backwards hat. I sat on the floor and was like,
cross-legged.
fuck this dog.
Yeah.
And I ended up beating it.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, this is a game now.
Isn't that one of the coolest things about the game is you legitimately get better while you're not playing? Because so much of it is about pattern recognition, and in your head, you're kind of like visualizing what to do. Once you take a step away from it, you realize you're like, oh, when he raises his sword in this way, that the only way I can get away from that is by rolling in this way. I'm going to try that. And then you try it the next time you play. The sense of reward and satisfaction is there. I will say I am absolutely a veteran of the Soul. I've played every Souls game. I played every FromSoft game. I'm pretty good at them. It would be hard not to beat all of them and not be like, that is the style of game that I play. And Elden Ring is kicking my ass. It is... I always say, and because Andrew, you say this all the time. You're like, I don't understand like why people like the game because it's so difficult. And I'm like, that's not why people like it. Difficulty is often like something that people say. It's like that's the reason people play FromSoft games. I think it's more about the lore, the story, the mechanics, this and that. And really, once you get good at it, it isn't a difficult game. It's just a demanding game. It's more about like getting used to the flow of it and learning that death is part of the momentum of the game. And this is the first time playing it where I'm like, no, difficulty is the point of this game. Yeah. They do things like specifically to fuck with you. Have you found yourself in the Crystal Caves yet?
No, I don't know where I'm going or what I'm doing. Are you fucking nuts? It is like one of the reasons why I stopped playing Witcher 3. There was just like so many things happening in my brain. In this game, it's like I read Dune for the first time, but in a graphic novel.
Okay. Nice.
And
So you didn't read Dune, but...
No. I read it like a real adult would with pictures.
I read Dune. I saw the movie.
I saw the thing. But it's like in that same way. In the first page, they're like, hey, these guys from Arcanus are going to the Arcasis, and then the Sufi dudes are coming up from the sands of Melmar. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why can't this guy be named Joe?
Yes.
But I feel that way in the Elden Rings, where they're like, hey, if you want the sacred stone of the keystone, you got to go shove a fucking golden rod up your butt. I'm like...
But so what you and I were talking off the podcast about shoving golden rods up your butt, and I said you don't have to, but you can. No, but I said From Software often treats the instruction book or the internet like its own instruction book. It's purposely vague and purposely tough to decipher because it wants the community to get together and kind of figure these mechanics out for themselves. There are icons that show up in the game as status effects that they don't tell you what it is. People just have to, through trial and error, figure it out. Some people like that, some people don't. But once you had started to engage online and see, some of the recommendations, some of the mechanics, things that you weren't necessarily explained too well in the game, did you find like you felt that you were a part of something bigger and that helped your enjoyment of the game?
I felt like a bigger man. Finally. But you're right. Like when I looked up, I didn't know. I just chose a confessor because it looked cool.
The starting build.
Religious, but fun. And I made this thing. And then they're like, hey, did you know you have spells? And I was like, I have a what now? I can do a what? And so when I looked it up, I was like, oh, I can swing a sword and do the spells?
Yes.
Okay.
Good roll for the confessor, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's funny that, like, you know, maybe it's a metaphor for life, but like at this boss fight, every time you attack it, I'm always like, oh, this worked. Maybe just like hit it one more time.
Yeah.
And then when you hit it one more time,
you get punished.
Instantly dead.
Yes.
So a nice metaphor for life. Don't go in all. Maybe sometimes you need to draw back.
100%.
It's a very patience testing game, I would say. If none of that has convinced you, I don't know what will.
Well, George R. R. Martin's involved.
They say
he wrote it. Like,
I bet you he doesn't even know this game is out right now.
Oh, I don't know, because I would have thought, like, I picked up something and they're like, this is the Dark Valley of the Lost Obsidian or something like that, and I'd be like, oh wow, George, cool. Like that's fucking awesome, man. All right.
Here's the thing: is if you didn't tell me George R. R. Martin was involved, the tone, the names, the lore is all very FromSoft. I've seen it all before. Now, I kind of think what happened is he got together with Miyazaki and basically just said, like, here are some, like, a general concept of a land. And they were like, okay, we're just going to make our own story. Thanks, George, for the input. We're going to say that you're involved in the game and everyone's going to like it as a result.
Like Miyazaki from Studio Ghibli?
No, different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. What? George R. R. Martin's Studio Ghibli movie. Yeah. I'm just like, oh,
that would be intense.
You know, it's just, but something happened, because you're right. Dark Souls were popular games. Don't get me wrong. But how did Elden Ring become the most talked about video game in the world right now, for at least this week? You know,
I think it has, listen, as you've mentioned before, Andrew, thanks.
Yeah, no
Andrew.
problem.
Thank you. Dario? Mm-hmm. Thanks. Are you listening?
I was.
Oh, okay.
I saw myself on the screen and then I was like, hey.
Tune it out now. Tune it out. You know, there are way more video gamers than we think. We are now no longer nerds. We are kind of the mainstream. And when you have a quality product that's been kind of festering under the surface, and most gamers know about Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Bloodborne and Sekiro and those games, they continually keep getting bigger and bigger and introducing themselves to more and more people, and therefore they get recommended to more and more people. And this seems to be the accumulation of all of that, especially taking such a big swing as, you know, involving George R. R. Martin, which is another big mainstream thing, and being an open world game, which it hadn't done before. I think it's kind of like, hey, you like Breath of the Wild, but did you think that was a bit too childish? Okay, here's Breath of the Wild, but for you. And one thing I will say about this, I've been very vocal on this podcast that I do not like open world games in the way that, like, Assassin's Creed does them, or even Horizon does them. The constant mini quests and side missions and markers and collectibles and this and that. Dark Souls or Elden Ring doesn't really have that. It's kind of an open map. There are multiple missions going on at any given time, but you don't have those weird, like, dopamine incentives to say, like, hey, there's a collectible over here if you want to go get it. You just have, like, a map and you're like, you can explore wherever you want and there might be a cave. So go do the cave. It's just, it's rewarding you with more of the game, as opposed to rewarding you with saying you're 80% of the way through collecting all of these arbitrary backpacks, Spider-Man. You know what I mean? And I like that a lot. I'm finding that a lot more easy to either stay on the path of the main story or go and explore and not feel like I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, I feel like for me, same deal. And, you know, it's one of those things where the reward feels so much more rewarding for me, because, like, again, stayed up almost half the fucking night and then woke up the next morning, beat it, and I was like, I did it. As opposed to, like, in Red Dead, when I shoot the red hooded sparrow, I'm like, okay, nailed it,
crushed it.
All right.
I agree. Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. There's just more. I feel like people want to feel stuff.
Yes.
So we're at a point, you know, year 3 of the pandemic or whatever, and you just want to, like, you want to get really mad at something, which also allows you to get really happy
and satisfied when it's over.
Yeah.
It's like,
Salt and sour,
play
sweet and sour.
Sweet and salty.
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah, 100%.
But I'll play, you know, COD to shut my brain off.
Right.
And I play, like, a multi or Overwatch or whatever.
Yep.
And I'll play it and I'll end a match and I'll get, like, MVP. And I'll be like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
Where I'll beat a cat dog.
Yeah.
And I feel like
The Grave Watcher.
the man.
Yeah, I know. I get that. I get there is a big difference from Elden Ring of what's happened to escalate it into, like, such public consciousness, whereas maybe they were a little more niche before, even though incredibly popular. But
do you have any inclination that it's something you're going to try, or are you still?
I don't know. Like, it's even the color schemes and stuff. Every time I see it, like, screenshots are all over Twitter and. You know,
it's my whole timeline these days.
It literally is.
Doc
Like,
figured it out.
Yeah.
And everything is just like a gray, like, brown color shot, and I'm like, is this a good looking game? I can't even tell what's going on, you know? But I don't know. This is just me being cranky from the sidelines, and I'd probably like it if I played
it is funny because they do that. Dark Souls does that, or the From Software games do that. I use Dark Souls as just a substitution for all of these games.
Like the franchise.
Yeah, exactly. They do that where they force you into these areas of darkness and desolation, and then it makes when you see the light feel that much better. And that's both in terms of the environment and in terms of the combat. You know, 95% of the time you're coming up against something that you're struggling with. The 5% of the time where you're experiencing success, that balance that they've had just makes it feel so rewarding.
Right.
And the first few hours that I was playing with it, I got whisked away to this magical area, lost all of my ruins, which are the experience points essentially to level up. And it basically put me at a point where you're supposed to be like really late level, doesn't tell you how to fast travel out of there. You can't. Trying to find my way. I spent like 3 hours without realizing I could fast travel out of there at a certain point. Frustrated as all hell. Just mad at the game for being like, you're disrespecting my time at this point. Why would you put me in this place that I can't get out of? But if I were more careful and I checked my map once again, I could have realized I could fast travel. So again, that's on me.
Yeah.
And those frustrations, it's a personal issue, not an issue with the game.
I can't decide if it's a calming game. Like if you have like 2 hours and you're like, I want some nice chill downtime, I don't know if that's the game for you. Oh, maybe that's just me because I don't know really what I'm doing yet.
Yes.
Right.
But like I'm walking in the thing, I'm like, this is so nice. And then a knight on a horse with a giant skull.
Yes.
It's like, no,
it's not the game. Like I have trouble playing it past 9:30 at night because I'm going to have to sleep, but it can be calming in the sense that like a prisoner of war of 3 years is calm because they just like, I know misery is following me around every corner.
They're desensitized?
Yes, they're desensitized to everything.
Oh
So
my
it really
God.
puts you in that state.
It's good because it strips away all sensations and pleasure from life. That's fun. Yeah. Yeah. You just realize the bleakness of life.
Exactly. Well, listen, there are some bleak scenes in the game we're going to be talking about today as well. Tim Burton did a great job of designing darkness around Batman Returns, and this game is a game that's based on that title.
Is it unpopular to say Batman Returns is better than the original Batman?
You know what? I've heard that more often than people want to say. I love it.
I love Batman
I
Returns.
think it's got better characters.
Yes,
like
Michelle Pfeiffer's incredible as Catwoman.
Yes.
dude, the penguin is amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the penguin,
Danny
it's
DeVito.
so gross.
Eating
I know.
raw fish a lot.
Yeah,
Do you think
the
they're
black,
real raw
black
fish?
goo coming out of his mouth. Wait, what's
Isn't the real raw fish?
Do you think he ate real raw fish?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was the inspiration for Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like that character is just the penguin without the costume.
Frank is? Yeah, exactly.
There are certain roles, like I think Al Pacino, once he went to Scent of a Woman, he was like, well, that's it for the rest of my life. I'm just going to walk around as this character all the time, screaming.
Yeah,
and yeah, exactly. And I think that was Danny DeVito. He's like, oh, I'm kind of like a younger actor. I'm in Taxi. This is great. And then he makes Batman Returns. He goes, this is my persona now in normal life.
Well, worked for him.
He did.
Definitely worked for him. He's been doing great ever since. Heath Ledger's Joker, he carried that with him for a couple more months
Still
into
there.
the grave. Yeah.
Still there. Into the retro grave. Oh my God.
So Batman Returns came out in 1993 or 1992, depending on what platform you had. There were a lot of different versions on a lot of different platforms, and there was a lot of confusion around that for this game. The version we're playing on the SNES is largely considered the best of these games.
Cool.
This one came out in 1993. The Sega version came out in 1992, published and developed on the SNES by Konami.
Oh.
Gotta love a Konami game.
Yeah.
You know you're going to get a lot of familiar sound effects. You know you're going to get a lot of familiar graphics. This is before they went with one of the future Batman games on the SNES, went like the Mortal Kombat route and had the actual like the photorealistic actors doing like the Mortal Kombat things, and that one's notoriously dog shit.
Okay.
But there's
Cool.
there's a love affair that some people have with this one. Any pre-Arkham games that you guys played? Did you have any experience playing like the SNES or the NES or Game Gear or Game Boy?
I remember the Batman animated series had a video game.
Yes. Yeah.
I remember playing that. Also one of the best theme songs of all time. But wait, what's that? No, keep going. A couple more bars.
That's
X-Men.
No, I know.
That's where I was wondering. I'm like, we getting there?
I'm kidding. It's
No, that's Mission Impossible. Okay, we're gonna get sued by so many people today.
all right. No, it's I don't want to wait.
Nailed it. That was it. Yeah, no, like I remember that one, but it's so fun. These bagels are very good. I love New York.
Benedict's back.
Yeah, Benedict's back. Playing Batman. It might be Batman next. Who the fuck knows what's going on anymore? Doesn't have a strong enough chin. You need a big chin. You need a strong chin. One of the things I have seen from promotional photos, I'm not trying to ruin anything here.
Robert
Pattinson. The cowl is cut very high, so you can see a lot of his face, which I think is good for acting.
Something Robert Pattinson does.
He
does act.
He is an actor.
It is funny. Like, I don't think my girlfriend, I have one. She exists.
Congrats.
Brag about it.
Oh, thank you. She introduced me to the Twilight series, which I was like, is this a real thing? This is crazy.
Is this the original or the reboot with Jordan Peele?
Jordan Peele. Okay. My favorite part is when Robert Pattinson is like, "Don't look at me, I'm a hideous monster. You're gonna hate it," and he just sparkles. I was like, "What the fuck?" But I didn't think he could act, and then I was like, "Oh, he is an actor."
Well, it's funny for that Twilight series. They had Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson, who have both had very successful like indie movies. They've done stuff, and then everybody else, just dropped off the face of the earth.
What happened to Taylor Lautner?
I don't know.
He went into the welcome mat business. Said, "Where you been, Loca?" And it's just, what is it? And that's just every house you go into in suburban.
I love it.
Color America.
Yeah.
Hey,
so he's actually had more success than combined financially than the other two.
I guess we decided ultimately which team we were on, Edward or Jacob.
Yes.
And it was Edward, right? Edward? Yeah, Edward.
Yes. I literally have never seen the Twilight movies.
No, me neither.
You know, that's the best part.
If you want to, go check out the baseball scene online, and that will just fill you up with so much joy. They play baseball. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Like the vampires versus
the vampires vampires just play vampires, and they play, I can't believe I'm doing this. They have to play during thunder showers, because when the bat hits, they need people to think it's thunder because it's so loud.
Ooh. So it's like a Mark Canseco kind of. He combined the two.
Yes, if you combine
Mark McGuire and Jose Canseco,
Mark McGuire.
That's how good he is.
Jose McGuire and Mark Canseco.
I like the idea that they
real
merge
Brash
like
brothers.
Goku and Vegeta, just like sideways touching fingertips.
So that was Twilight. Back to Batman. Batman Returns, I think that's the only video game I played was the Batman animated series. Was there anything for you?
Yeah, you know what? I played a lot, always rentals, because I found them very difficult. You know, Batman the animated series was pretty straightforward. You turn it on, you know you're going to see Batman win. And I think in the back of my head, like that was my real introduction to Batman was the animated series. I fucking loved it. So every time I picked up a game, I'm like, this should be kind of easy. And they were all very difficult. There was also the Konami game on the NES, just called Batman. Very difficult. It was essentially Ninja Gaiden, but with a Batman skin. I played those games, but I had to return them. So in my mind, Batman games sucked because they were just so difficult. I couldn't play them. This one, though, it has 7 levels, and they're analogous to 7 scenes from the movie Batman Returns.
Oh.
So you're really going kind of 1-to-1 with the Tim Burton movie and the video game here. And there's so you got 7 scenes that are analogous with scenes from the movies, and 1 scene from a marriage in which Batman has a passive aggressive conversation with his wife in front of a teenage journalist. I don't know if you guys have seen scenes from a marriage, but that's the last scene of this movie.
What?
Yeah.
Did you see Scenes of a Marriage?
Is that where he punches the hole in the wall?
No, that's Marriage Story. Scenes from a Marriage.
Still a marriage, though.
Scenes from a Marriage. It's
about a marriage.
Oscar Isaac and
Jessica Chastain.
Jessica Chastain.
Gotcha.
And they just have bitter passive aggressive arguments against one another.
It's a very famous short series from the 60s that kind of like was like a play on television that like was very scandalous at the time because it was like very honest about marriages.
Right.
Whereas marriages at that point were like, you know, the Brady Bunch and shit like that. Even though those are 2 divorced people, but whatever. So like what a weird example to use. But yeah, and so Scenes of Marriage is very dark. If you ever want to like test whether you want to get married, watch that.
Yeah,
you're
honestly,
like, oh boy.
That's why I'm still single. So
Right. That's the only reason.
And because I don't want to watch Twilight. That's the
Right.
that's the other reason.
And everyone keeps making me watch it.
Behind you is Mario and Luigi wall decals. Yes. The Marriage Story is why it's this. Okay. Yeah, no, I get it. It's fine.
Go to YouTube. Check us out on YouTube if you want to see why I'm still single. A story in 7 wall decals. So scene 1, you're facing the red triangle and you got to save Selena Kyle. Scene 2, It's you against the circus gang,
Oh,
right?
no.
Remember the
Classic
circus gang?
move.
Who could forget such iconic enemies in the Batman universe as Tall Clown and Thin Clown and
Clown.
Stun Gun Clown.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Clown's got a gun.
Obviously, one of the things this game is famous for, all the enemies, clowns.
Really?
They're all in the circus gang.
And they're dancing around the topic that Batman's greatest villain, a clown. Yeah. But no, we don't get
He's
that.
not in
You
there.
don't get him.
They're all imitating him because this is more
So
penguin.
he's coming, right?
No. It's more penguin
When
oriented.
are we going to get to the fireworks factory?
Scene 3 and 4, Penguin and Catwoman comes in, and Catwoman, they both try to fight you, but you save Selena Kyle. So Selena Kyle as Catwoman is like, I don't fucking like this Batman guy. He made me look bad in front of my hostage friends.
Yeah. She's the true Two-Face.
She is very Two-Faced.
Yes.
Like what a character in that, right?
Yeah, I like that we're doing Catwoman again, like in the new movie. It's such a great character. There's very interesting articles about how she went from like original love interest to now foe, but not foe. And
Yes.
then like that very thin balance, I think is very interesting.
And the fact that Batman was canonically supposed to go down on Catwoman.
Yes.
And then the studio
I
exec
forgot.
says, Batman heroes don't do that.
Yeah, they forgot that heroes don't.
Heroes are selfish lovers.
Another reason why I don't have a girlfriend.
Because I'm Batman. Oh, wait, shit. Oh, God.
Again. That's heroes don't do that kind of stuff. That's why these truckers and stuff don't go down on their
They're
girls.
heroes.
Yes, exactly. Because they're heroes in our minds. So scene 5, the Batmobile chases down the Penguin, right?
Okay.
Now we're getting some excitement.
we
Great.
go.
We've made it past all the scene 6. You're on the circus train and you're fighting the organ grinder. No, back to the circus.
Wait, we just drove back to the circus?
So you go.
Now that we got that taken care of.
Batmobile's chasing down Penguin. And you're like, great. We're past all the circus nonsense. But nope.
No.
Penguin drives straight to the circus train and you're following him there, baby.
He's just like, all right, Penguin's turning left. Okay. Left again. All right. Left again.
Yeah.
No.
It's fucking circus, you big tent coming up. I
you run in there. Penguin's just in the audience eating popcorn.
Yeah.
Like,
oh shit, he found me.
that lion's afraid of a stool.
I was thinking about how you're like, you drive after the penguin. I'm like, penguin's not very good at running. I'm like, oh, he's driving too? Okay, that makes way more sense.
And then scene 7, you beat the penguin. And that's it. Spoiler alert. But that's usually what happens. So I don't think we're going to get to that point. I would love to get to the point where we're driving the Batmobile, because apparently that's a whole new perspective, and that always adds quite a bit. Reception based on this, because notoriously, as we talked about, a lot of these older Batman games were not very well received. 79%.
Whoa, okay.
79%.
This might be pretty good.
As I mentioned, it made a couple top 100s lists. Sometimes it's considered to be the best licensed game on the Super Nintendo, which is pretty impressive.
Wow.
That system was not without its licensed games. But you got Konami behind the wheel. They say it's essentially like a Final Fight clone. Final Fight's great.
Yeah,
Final Fight with
is great.
Batman, I'm into it.
Yeah. It is blowing my mind. Sorry, the whole time we're like, did you play a Batman game? I'm like, why have I never asked this question? Why? Batman may be one of the most played out pieces of licensed
watch
material.
yourself.
I'm just saying is that we're on our now 5th Batman in movies, and the first Batman movie came out in the 90s. So like, just, whatever. Let's all perspective. But like, so there's been chances for Batman to be played out, right? Why has there not been more video games? Like, why is that not racing to the top of my head 6 different examples,
I
right?
couldn't even remember a Batman game before Arkham. Like maybe the Batman Lego game, but I wasn't.
Oh yeah, Lego Batman was notorious. I mean, all those Lego games were. They were all essentially the same with new skins. But that was kind of the point.
Yeah.
But I couldn't even if you were like a Batman video game, instantly Arkham Asylum or Arkham Knight. Nothing before that. I don't know why.
I think it was at the time when there wasn't really a standard narrative for what Batman was. You had a movie coming out every now and again, but you also had the TV show, which is a bit more niche. So you get a movie or a game based on the movie, a game based on the TV show, some side scrollers here and there, but it didn't seem like everything came together at any point to give you like the definitive video game version. It was all the game trying to be something else.
Totally.
Were you not watching the animated series at the time the game came out? Probably not. It was on the PlayStation 1. Therefore, why would we have played it? Were we playing an incredibly difficult game based on Batman when the movies came out, when Batman Returns came out? Probably not, because we were fucking dog shit at games back then. Yeah. So I think it makes sense that we didn't really feel much of an affinity towards any until the Arkham games, when that was like in our prime playing games, wasn't associated with the Dark Knight, like the Nolan trilogy as we had known it at the time. And that's probably why. Plus, it was just a fucking fantastic game.
Oh, so good. So good.
I feel like Batman and Robin would have been the best video game version of Batman, whereas the movie was amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, the best
But like
of all
that would have
time.
made the best video game because it would have been so over the top and
Yes.
insane, and like fighting Mr. Freeze would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's like they shot it at like a laser tag arena.
Right?
And then they had like ice skating villains and stuff, and you're like, what? Everyone, like, so like the idea is they bought them all ice skates? Like, what a crazy idea.
I want it to be in the room so bad when the writers are like, I have an idea.
Nipples.
every line is going to be a punch. The first line in the movie is, I should get a car. Chicks dig cars.
Oh,
and then
wow.
Batman goes, that's why Superman works alone.
Yeah.
Wow.
The first line.
That's a great line to start
Chicks
with.
dig cars.
Chicks dig cars. And you know why I became Batman? To get chicks. It's not a weird, lonely life that I live.
Or just like
my
there's-
elderly butler.
There's one scene, the scene you're talking about where they come out and all the bad guys are on rollerblades. So you're like,
rollerblades.
okay, the floor is a floor.
Yeah.
It's a museum floor. And then Batman and Robin get knocked down and they click their heels. They've never met Mr. Freeze before. On the drive over, the police chief or whatever goes, Batman, there's a new villain in town. His name is Mr. Freeze. And Batman's like, ugh, Mr. Freeze. Interesting. He's never met them before, but yet they get knocked down. And both Batman and Robin click their heels and legit skate blades come out. So then you're like, is the floor ice or is it floor? Because the bad guys are on roller skates. It's amazing.
Well, it would be great if he like turns to him. He's like, my beheading boots are going to be really good on this ice. And you're like, oh, you mean your skates? Yeah, skates.
Alfred's helping with, he's stitching in fucking skate blades. And he's like, you might need
sharpening 'em.
these one day. I don't know when, but maybe one day.
Batman was a huge hockey fan.
Huge
Yeah.
Rockefeller
Actually, the
skating
Gotham
rink.
Blades are a team that they reference in some comics.
Yes,
Yeah.
that they have a hockey team in Gotham City.
Yeah.
He's like, maybe one day they'll need me.
Yeah.
I need a goalie real quick. I'll be right back.
I need a power forward. They're really missing on their aggressive game, a left wing. Yeah.
Well, can you use gadgets? There's nothing in the rule books that says you can't use a batarang. So,
It's like, can you put a uniform on? He's like, never.
Never.
well, look, I'd like to put on the uniform of a gamer playing.
Oh my God. Yes.
Episode 201.
He drove along that Segway and just right into the other lane. Boom, head on head collision.
I crashed my circus train right into
Here we are, back in the circus.
But guys,
do it.
enough talking about this game. I think it's time that we play it.
Hey,
and then forget.
shut up.
Okay,
It's time to
guys.
play a video game.
Shut your mouths.
Let's play the game and see what memories come up. I don't know if most of my memories are from other Batman games or this one, but a lot of it's going to come to the surface when I play it, just like a therapy session. So if I start crying, you guys will know why.
How often in your therapy session are you like, Dark Souls, and your therapist's like,
I
Dark
get
Souls,
it.
I get it.
Oh, I think there's a book devoted to Overwatch.
I had so here's actually a true story before we go. I had a therapy session, and
So
it
this
was,
one is true.
This one is
true. Go ahead.
Happened to a friend of mine.
Dario, a guest and a listener.
And a listener, yeah. I had a therapy session coming up, and I knew it was over Zoom or whatever the equivalent was, and I knew it was with a woman, and I turned my ring light on because I was like, what if? And then I realized this is why I go to therapy.
She just sees the ring light. She's like, no, not again.
First of all, I'm going to start with ground rules. Do not fall in love with me.
Put your shirt back on.
yeah. One more button up.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to do this with video off for a while.
Yeah.
Did you cut nipples into your shirt? What the fuck? You Batman and Robin it?
Oh man. Okay. Well,
We're playing
enough of me just making fun of my own
was
insecurities. I don't know why I told that story, but let's tell the story about how much we love this fucking
There
game.
we
And
go.
We'll get to that after the break. So follow us. Hey, by the way, if you want to see us playing the game, check us out on YouTube. Easy as that. Otherwise, we'll see you guys on the other side. All right, here we go.
Let's do it.
Let's embody Dr. Keaton himself, PhD. It would not surprise me if he were a doctor.
Well, probably somebody gave him one.
What university do you think gave him one?
University of Phoenix.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Trump University.
Yeah, Trump University. Oh.
Bat signal. The famous Michael Keaton shot from down under, his backlit with the bat signal.
Whoa.
So we got a
that
little.
looks like a fun Batmobile situation.
Yeah, so we're looking at the road, and the Batmobile's kind of running into scene one, which is ambush in Gotham Plaza. Doesn't seem like Batman's getting ambushed very often. He's not walking around the street.
Oh my God, clowns.
Or is he ambushing the enemies.
Guys, looks pretty good.
It doesn't.
Oh, children!
children.
Oh my
ran at me
God.
and I tried to punch them. Oh wow. Okay, so punching, kicking clowns, even like everything from the health bar to the
Thin clown.
Yeah.
I told you, thin clown, tall clown.
I do like that they're like very old school clowns, like very scary looking clowns.
Yeah, like a Pagliacci.
Yeah, it's Pagliacci. Thank you.
They didn't wash their masks.
No more children. Stop
Children
trying
keep
to hit
running
the
at me,
children.
and I'm bataranging them. Clowns on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh, biker. That's not really a clown, but he's kicking.
He
my
looks
ass.
like the Predator.
Is that a helmet or that his actual skull?
I think it's his actual skull. I think
He's got a
deformed
huge
little bit.
skull.
Yeah, he took
they
that,
base the bikers on.
Did you see that? So there's a grab button. If you grab the two enemies when you're in between them, you coco bonk them. You smash their heads together.
Yes.
I love picking these guys up and just slamming them on the ground.
There's times where you're just smacking them around, and then there's other. Okay, so a bat helps you out there.
A bat helped me out.
Oh
and,
my God!
What is that one?
Looks like Daredevil.
There's a fire
clown.
clown. The close
Watch-
relative to stun gun clown.
Watch out, fire clown. I just love them. They're shipping them over like, hey, Batman's gonna be there. We got to get over this area. And so it's like, are you guys ready? Thin clown, short clown, biker clown, bazooka clown, fire clown.
Fire clown, you wait.
You wait.
till
You're
he's
on
at
your
the-
own truck.
You wait till he's at the shop. first here.
Fire clown and bazooka clown can't travel together.
You think fire clown shows up? He's like, guys, you're never gonna believe this.
Yeah.
I forgot my lighter.
Or you're like, thin clown, we like the job you're doing. You're promoted to fire clown. Like, what? Really? Oh, that's amazing. My family's gonna be so happy for me.
There's just fat clown. Like, when do I get to go?
Get over here.
I like the background though.
Yeah, the background's really cool.
Gothic
It's a
statues?
well-animated game.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the game I played. I remember this guy in the background. He's pulling a lever. That's I remember. So this
Oh.
is the game that I remember most.
Oh, it's a stun gun clown.
Stun gun clown, baby.
Although the title is Stun Gun C.
That's secret.
He's rolling. They didn't talk about his fact that he can tumble.
I like two clowns pop out of a present, and then Batman flies in.
I also, you got to think about what the days were before that. And like, get the present ready. Everyone in the present.
Shut up and get in the box. Shut up.
How long are we going to be in here? Shut up. I don't like being around.
Okay, so there's the test tube.
What was
So
that?
I would
button?
use,
It's Y. It's block and Y.
Okay.
I would use a bunch of that on the stun gun clown because we are getting no luck on that guy.
Yeah. Do you guys ever question who you are or like the validity of your podcast based on how successful you are at the video game?
No, thank God. Because if we did, this is okay. So this is interesting. What I'm realizing is this level has like no 3D element to it. You can't move up and down. In the last level, you could.
And also, it doesn't relate to the other level because everyone's dying with one punch.
Yeah.
Like even the fat ones and even the ones that have proven to be
Right.
tough. So like it's like we've been lied to.
It's a whole different mechanic. I mean, granted, for the sake of a game, maybe that's cool because it switches up the mechanics a little bit, keeps it fresh.
See the slide. You got to watch over that slide.
Oh, big man,
What
big
about
man,
that
big
slide?
man sliding.
Quit.
Yeah.
Me.
Here we go. Stun gun clown, Mikey.
I believe in you.
Take 3.
I'm gonna try to throw this.
I just don't understand what the grappling gun does.
Whoa!
The grappling gun.
Well, there we go.
Choke that lady?
I pulled the from behind him.
Throw some test tubes.
Testing it up.
That was the last
See,
one.
Hear that?
Finally,
I
get
should
some
have
health
saved.
off
I
this
should
guy.
have saved the test tubes for the rest of this fight.
So you test tube him. He
And now-
hates it, and now you're in like.
It's almost like
regular
you.
health.
Yeah, it's almost
Yeah.
like you need to save the test tube for him. Otherwise, you can't kill
Oh,
him.
you
I
need to
killed him.
break. Okay, like
Break
some kind
his
of.
stun situation.
Yeah, he's got like some kind of armor.
He's got some armor. You know how stun gun clowns always have armor?
yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
So the stun gun clown was holding a woman hostage, and now that you saved her, it would be great if Batman turns and goes, "Now your turn." And he's like, "What? What'd I do?" Oh,
Wow. That's Selena Kyle that we were saving.
of course.
The Batman, or is it just Batman? The cowering lady saved by Batman was Selena Kyle, lowly secretary.
Lowly.
Lowly.
I'm sure she was great at her job.
Most powerful businessman in Gotham City.
Max Shrek.
Oh God.
Fiona, what are you doing in my swamp?
A mysterious creature known only as the
Danny
Penguin
DeVito.
has been spotted in Gotham's sewers. He allies with Max Shrek as a businessman will
Christopher
do.
Walken in the movie.
Ally with the sewer creatures.
Yes. He's a politician, right?
To become the new mayor of Gotham City.
Yeah, he's got to drain the swamp.
100%.
Got it,
There
Grant.
you go.
Yeah. Burn, baby, burn. he
Classic
says.
Penguin line.
Classic Penguin line.
Penguin loves
Scene
fire.
2, battle in the streets. Battle in the streets. I just punched a trash can, and a test tube came out.
So, we now have 4.
There are discarded heroin tests. Okay.
Yes, exactly. That's what you're throwing.
Watch out, heroin.
Thin clown, but this thin clown is juggling.
So he's distracted.
Yeah,
He's distracted.
He's fine.
I think he was just a regular clown on his way home from work.
That is. Uh-oh.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah. No.
Did you see this? So if you grab them, there is like more context to this. So if you grab someone and press up and throw, I'm punching children.
Trying to hit children.
Why are children running from off screen?
Yes.
Oh shit! There's a bomb clown. But yeah, you grab them, you press up, you can throw them against the wall sometimes, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, you gotta think that guy going home is just like, man, I picked a wrong day to drive my dirt bike home from clown school.
What do you mean? Come on back. I love that he just drives in circles.
What kind of combat training do you think these clowns have? Or do you think they were clowns and they're like, guys, change of plans?
Yeah. Were they tough, street criminals that are dressing like clowns, or were they clowns that got combat training?
That's a good question. Or what did it happen all this? Did they go to
They went to clown college, and there was one class.
There was one class military training. Yeah.
Combat
Krav
training.
Maga.
Wait, what?
First one is painting your face. Second one is tumbling. Third is Krav Maga.
It's not Krav Maga. It's Krav Maga, like a horn.
We need more on-brand trickery to do on the street criminals. So, like, maybe you spray him with some water. Maybe, it's a rope, but it's too long.
One guy raises his hand in the back.
Yeah.
What if you throw a pie in his face and he says, "Get the fuck out of here"?
Pie of acid? I like where you're thinking. Here we go.
This poor, I hate that, like, as you're making your way through the level, families run by you.
Yes.
And meanwhile, we're looking at all the Christmas decorations and smashing them. And the kid's like, Christmas is definitely ruined.
Yeah.
Not only are there killer clowns.
Good thing I'm Jewish.
Welcome to Clown College. Here's your schedule for this morning. Painting, tumbling, costume design. In the afternoon, bomb detonation. Hand-to-hand combat, knife skills.
Fire stick holding.
Fire stick, yeah.
For death.
Yes.
What? See, that's cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, so I take a chunk out, because I think that actually happens in the movie, eh?
There we go.
You take a chunk out of the cement, and because he's standing behind Selena Kyle. There we go.
Look how easy that
I got
was.
the boss down pat, baby.
Yeah, you got that.
Because in the next
Robert
scene in the next scene when it shows
Sparkly
Selena
Robert
Kyle,
Pattinson.
there's a chunk of concrete out from behind her.
Yes, it is.
So I think that's part of the movie. Well, guys,
I think that was
We
great.
made it.
We did it.
ladies and gentlemen, we did it.
We did.
Mission accomplished.
Game the bat.
Well, let's talk about the game. How about
Let's.
that?
Oh no, we got to talk more Batman. Let's go.
Oh, shoot.
nuts. Andrew's least
Everyone in the
favorite
Batmobile.
part.
And welcome back to the Retrograde.
I'm back.
Oh, you back?
I'm back,
Oh,
man.
yeah. I think you returned.
I've returned.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what I say when I climax.
Yes, and I've returned.
And I've returned to the state of not wanting you in my fucking bed.
Oh my God, you're a monster.
I'm not a monster. I'm a bat.
You get under your bed, and that's, and then you're like out.
Get the fuck out of here. You know the deal. I'm Batman. Unless your name is Alfred, you don't sleep in this bed.
I love it. Turned into like a New York comedian. Get out of here, will you?
That's my only character.
I love
Andrew Dice Clay.
yeah. Hickory dickory dock. I'm Batman. Get the fuck out. I love the idea that you're like, get out. I'm Batman. Wait, no, fuck. Yeah, come over here. I gotta kill you now. Yeah.
Hickory dickory dock. Batman fucked up Killer Croc.
Oh no.
I was good. I thought you were gonna go the
Very
other
good.
way. Yeah.
Two guys that wear a single black leather piece, like Batman and Andrew Dice Clay.
I thought you were talking about Killer Croc. I'm like, I have a different impression of that.
I don't know if you know this, but Killer Croc is a croc.
But do you think
Leather,
leather,
leather, single
crocodile
leather piece. Yeah,
That works.
Come on. Oh God, guys, we're in the second half of the episode. You can tell because we're talking about nonsense. We just played Batman Returns. Initial thoughts. What are we doing off the top here?
You know what? I kind of liked it.
Yep.
I didn't expect to. Did it break my expectation? Did it break the mold? No. But did I want it to? Kind of. But did I need it to? No.
Also no.
Also
no.
Yeah. I didn't think. I wasn't expecting much.
Yeah.
And it was good.
It was.
I wonder if the tepid response or maybe the lack of memories of this game in general is because it was closing on a period where these kind of games, these side-scrolling games, we're like very tired. You're like, oh, another one of these. Okay, great. And you don't remember it. But now when we don't make games like that, we're like, whoa, this game kind of cool, actually.
That's so true. Going back to an era when this is less common, like when they released Streets of Rage 4, it was such a novelty because we don't get side-to-side beat 'em ups anymore, especially not in that. Like if you do, it's like a Castle Crashers and there's leveling up and there's magic and this and that. But to get a game that feels so much like the retro version of the game it's coming after, kind of like this did, not that it's a new release, but it felt like a good opening of the door to remember what these games felt like. The only problem is going back and playing a game from this era, you are beholden to the difficulty levels and the mechanics of game overs and trying to beat it with only set number of lives, which is frustrating. And it's similar to Contra, for example, where it's like you can give yourself some more lives and everything, but it's going to be really hard to make it to the end. And the punishment is that you got to do it all over again.
Yes.
Would I want to play this game without cheats, without extra lives, until I beat it organically all the way through? Probably not. But I would love to have an infinite number of continues and just play through it. That'd be great.
Yeah. No, I think that's totally fair. Also it's like it is very hyper specific to the movie. Obviously, it's a Batman Returns video game. It's based on that specific movie. It's not like Batman, in general, which limits, I think, the scope of what it is, but also in its specificity, I think is very interesting.
Not how that is pronounced.
Well, I think it is. Okay. But, okay, this guy. But is, even like the things of like the Shrek, park benches for like Max Shrek and like the fact that
I was like, I don't think Shrek was in this game.
I'm so confused.
Guys,
am I drunk?
Were you not watching the game that we're playing? Max Shrek. The powerful
donkey was
businessman that like what am I, alone on an island?
My God.
That, you know what you guys weren't watching that game with specificity. Thank you very much. And so I love that there's two ways you can go with it. That it sucks that it's specific, but then in its being specific, it is beautiful in that way because it's so like Christmas and the snow and everything. I thought that was awesome.
You know what I've heard that someone call like rice crackers or Triscuits as a delivery system for the topping.
100%.
Just something that makes
1000%.
the topping palatable. And it feels like this genre of game is the Triscuits of game. Like give me Batman in something that's palatable. Put Batman on a Triscuit, put that Triscuit in my mouth and let me chew on it. Now, I understand that this metaphor is falling apart in
like
my
Triscuit.
mouth.
Like a Triscuit?
Like a Triscuit, so it's crumbly.
Very dry.
But it's delivered very dry, like Batman's sense of humor. And also like if let's say he fights Mr. Freeze and they finish fighting and a couple days go by, the ice is melted, what has it done?
Melted. It's water.
It's therefore the ground is
dried up.
It's dried up.
Idiot.
You fucking Jesus. You get me, Dario.
I get you.
Do you want to host a podcast?
It's a dry Triscuit. I get it.
I'm not even sure I still get it. It's a Triscuit. Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, Batman Returns is a Triscuit. Put that in the scoreboard. Okay. Yeah.
Here's
three
one thing
Triscuits.
that I want to say. We were talking about how this is often thought of as potentially the best licensed game on the SNES. I looked up 1993 video games. One of the first ones that comes up, Disney's Aladdin. So fuck off with that nonsense of this potentially being the
that
best
game is
licensed
so
game.
good.
It's so good.
We did that so early in the podcast. You'll never be able to find it. Don't worry.
Yes.
And it is so good. And I also want to go back to some of the other Disney ones because I've been told the Lion King game is
Lion
very
King
good.
as well.
Yeah.
Super hard. This Spot game was actually
Cool Spot.
super dope.
Yeah, we did Cool Spot in one of our food themed months.
The month we can't remember what the theme,
we
what
cannot
the name
remember
was.
of that month.
No.
You tried.
You didn't
Okay.
get it. Anything that stood out to you? How about this? How about the fact that we beat the first part of the first stage and we get to the second part of the first stage and the mechanics almost unnoticeably change for reasons we don't understand. Did you like that or dislike that?
I liked the fact that in the second stage, you could kill an enemy with one blow.
Yeah.
I felt more powerful as Batman that way.
That's true.
Instead of in the first one where I have to bonk him, punch him, throw him through a window, and then throw a bangarang in his face.
Yeah. Yes. A bangarang.
A bangarang. It's a Toronto legend, Jesse
I was going to
Clark.
say.
Shout out.
A bar he owns.
A batarang in his face and he doesn't die. So I thought that
Yes.
that difference was nice.
Yeah, it feels weird going through a level as Batman, like going through as Cody or Guy in Final Fight and requiring 7 or 8 punches to beat Andre or any of the street youths that come across you.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But as Batman, like you watch the movies, you watch the comic, the street thugs just get tossed aside.
Yeah.
And so I get that. I think it did definitely fit with the power fantasy of Batman, but I don't think I enjoyed the second part as much.
Well, but if you inverse them, that would be also bad. Like if you immediately were knocking them all unconscious, and then the second level you're like, wait, everyone takes 5 punches.
True.
I don't know. Like clearly they were trying to do something very specific. Where now there is a height element with the tall clowns, and you kind of had to get through, and so they therefore made it just flat. They made
because just in case you missed it in the gameplay portion, the second bit is 2D, but there's no upwards plane. Where in Final Fight you can go up, down, left, right. At this point in this level, you can only go left and right. That's it. There's no going up unless you jump.
Exactly.
But it also felt like in this game as a whole, I felt like I liked the Asylum games so much. You know, I get it, different time, but you could use jumping, projecting off of lampposts, in such a way that it's like almost in every fight. I felt in this game I couldn't jump at all.
Yeah, there was a way to incorporate it as there is in these fighting games, but it often puts you in a vulnerable position.
Yes.
And now that the trouble that we have with an experience of modern games, going back and playing these retro ones, I forget all those intricacies.
Yeah, right.
The language of a beat 'em up, I don't quite remember. When is it okay to use the move that swipes all around you but drains some of your health? When is it worth using that as opposed to just taking one shot and then beating up the enemies? When do you jump? When do you get on plane with an enemy? I feel like playing this game for a couple more hours, we would have gotten the hang of that. I talk about Contra all the time. We did it on the podcast and it was fucking hard. But I continued to play that game afterwards and can now pretty much beat it.
Whoa.
Like at least get to the final boss.
Brag it up.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll brag.
Okay. Yeah.
I fuck.
Yeah. I'm going to mention this in therapy
And then
later.
I ask Lance Bean and Bill Rice to get out of my bed. Because I'm Batman. Fuck. No.
That was the greasiest sex. Like everyone's oiled up like crazy. Oh my God. Everyone's posing constantly. I get that. But and as the game would progress, there would be different elements. There's a driving element.
Yes.
There's, so if it was continuous level to level, then I have no problem with this. Right. Because then every level's slightly different. Cool. Okay, good. But if it's arbitrarily switching back and forth, well, then that
it felt very arbitrary. Like what? It's not like there was a reason. It's not like it said, "Hey, now you got to go to this place where you're in Flat World," or something. Like it's weird because it's just a street that we're on.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't do that though, because that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. Right.
It feels
Flat
like
World. Yeah, no, that's I don't like that.
No. Anything else that stood out to you guys?
I just wish there was different, and I know we only played 2 stages, but you reading the stages to me, just throw in a bad guy that's not dressed like a
honestly, that feels more variety in the enemies would have been key. The exception being obviously there's variety in the bosses where you get stun gun clown or whatever, but bosses in beat 'em up games fucking suck. You got to take your licks. Okay. You got to cheese them if you can. Like we just used a bunch of test tubes at them, and still got hit by them. It feels like, you and I playing Elden Ring, Dario, right now. There's a way to beat bosses without taking a hit, and it feels like that's nearly impossible in these games.
You can't.
I see. Here's what we always get called out on.
Yes.
There's always a video of someone doing it.
Yeah.
But the expectation to be able to do that seems so much more unrealistic in a game like this.
Absolutely. We're not big boss people in general. Yeah. We find it to be like a real cop out.
Who's your least favorite wrestler?
The Big Boss Man.
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Who's your least favorite baby?
The Big Boss Baby.
Yeah. Big Boss Baby.
Big Boss Baby.
Big Boss Baby.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin's Big Boss Baby. Don't. Don't. I get second to say Alec Baldwin. I know that Mikey's like, no, he shot a guy.
No, I'm not thinking about that.
I thought you were going to say Boss Baby shot somebody.
Oh, no,
Boss Baby got a gun.
I mean, he did, but I wasn't going to say it.
It wasn't his fault.
It wasn't his fault.
Now they're baby.
We're not here to argue fault. We're just here to say that Alec Baldwin shot somebody.
I mean, Alec Baldwin is arguing fault in The Armorer. Very clearly in the interviews. Listen, I did nothing wrong, but I don't know who the fuck that Armorer was.
Yeah. Also, my daughter's a little fat pig. Who's now like 24, I think, or something like that. But at the time, it was like 8. That's how old we are. Okay, so enough about Alec Baldwin, guys. Okay. Who also would have been a good Batman? Because I would have loved to see that original casting list, because like Michael Keaton feels like a very odd choice even then, and now especially too. Even though I think he did a good job. We'll talk about this.
He didn't do a Batman voice.
No, he was just
a regular guy.
He was a guy.
Which is crazy to me that somebody wasn't like, aren't you just the guy?
Yeah.
Like, I have a very distinct voice. Like, I can't believe you guys are letting me on the show. I hate my own voice.
I love your voice. When we started
very
talking,
animated.
Shut both your mouths.
Oh, okay.
I hear my own voice. I'm like, side story. Little side story.
okay.
I was doing a voice record for a case study video one time at work.
Okay.
And I had a girlfriend at the time. I had one at the time.
Okay, bragging about this again.
No big deal.
Awesome.
So you've had more than one in your life.
Whatever.
Okay, I hear you, Andrew. I hear you.
Right?
Oh, right.
And so I do this voice record and I show it to my girlfriend and I'm like, what do you think of the script and the thing? And she's like, oh, it's great. It's a great story. But like, why did you let this like nasally, sad, middle-aged dude read the thing? And I was like, I just swallowed. I didn't tell her. I just swallowed it.
Oh, no.
And
I
went
have
to my
no
therapist.
idea.
No.
That's what I. What a nerd.
That's when I had my next girlfriend. I called her number 2. Jesus Christ, that is horrifying.
Right?
Get out, Batman.
I feel like if you had a person with a distinct voice, wouldn't you be like, aren't you just Batman?
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of the bat voice. I get that you kind of have to have it, but I don't know, in the comics they don't, or the cartoons they don't really do it.
Yeah.
And it just feels forced.
Nice.
I wonder if we don't know. We'll see if Robert Pattinson has a Batman voice. I'm sure there's some effect that they do on it, like some variant, but like the Batman Begins one is comical sometimes. Like you're like, oh boy, I don't know about this.
Yeah, you answer to me.
I did enjoy for the shit we give Ben Affleck. I loved him as Bruce Wayne.
I like Ben Affleck as
I do
Batman.
too.
I don't think it's his fault those movies are not good.
But I also love the fact that they made it clear that there was like a chip in his thing.
I was going to say
changed his
that
voice.
should be the answer.
Yes.
Modulate the voice. Don't leave it up to the actor because they're always going to get that wrong.
And one thing we do know about the Batman movie is that there are scenes with Robert Pattinson with eye paint on.
Yes.
And I'm like, you got to do that because they're wearing eye paint. Like you got to know that they're doing that.
Exactly.
And I love the idea like that. Yeah. Like we can't have Batman go down on women or wear makeup. That is not allowed. You know, like, well, we know he's kind of. I will say one thing before we get into the scores here too, is it was really good looking. I understand this is a style of game that like the way that you animate these games is not the way you animate them now. And so there was a certain element. It's like certain television shows you see from the 70s. You're like, this looks really good. I'm like, well, they're shot on film.
Right.
So film doesn't like degrade the same way that we think some digital stuff does. So this one is just so specific that I really liked it. So
I agree. Just good color palettes. Leave it to Konami to get the most out of every bit that they're working with, whether it's sound or graphics. Their games just look amazing and sound amazing. Animations were great.
Yep.
With that said, we're leading into review territory. So why don't we start as we mentioned at the top of the episode? We're each going to give these games this game a ranking now because I have a memory of playing it, but it wasn't very distinct. It's going to be hard for me to say specifically what I thought about this game. So we're each going to give it its retro score based on what we think we would have thought of it had we played it back when it came out in 1993, out of 4 bits, and then give it a review based on how it holds up in the modern day against the likes of modern games like Elden Ring, out of 4 bits as well. So Andrew, why don't you start us off?
absolutely. Okay, so as a kid, I liked Batman. I like Batman now. I don't know where this malarkey's coming from, but which is an Irish slang for something probably horrible. So is that I liked Batman then. I would have liked this game. I like Batman Returns. I kind of even said that I like Batman Returns more than the original Batman.
Now, methinks the boy doth protest too much.
We've established that is an impossible argument to escape from because now I'm going to justify it and then you're going to go,
He's still just
protesting.
Yeah. He's mad at the argument because he can't justify his own defense. Okay.
Don't you dare use Shakespeare on me. Is that, I would have liked this game, but the fact that it didn't leave a dent and the fact that it didn't leave a dent in popular culture in general, I think it would have just kind of floated away. So while I did like the game now, I don't think I can give it 2 out of score. So I'm going to give it actually a 2.5 out of 4, please.
Nice. Dario, what about you?
Unlike Andrew, I really enjoy Batman. I was into it as a kid. I think it would have been one of these games where, much like Elden Ring, I liked the fact that it was hard.
Sure.
I think I would have had high highs and low lows. I don't remember it at all, so like I can't give it that much. But if I'm like, okay, what about me as a child in that mindset? I wouldn't have cared about pop culture or any of these dumb things. I'm a kid. What do I know? I'm going to give it a 3 out of 4.
Nice.
Amazing.
I think it looked great. I think it did all the Batman-y things, throw the batarangs, jump, do the cape twirl.
Yeah, he does jump. I think about that. You're right. He does jump.
He does jump in real life.
Call.
Yeah, he's a real Van Halen.
Who could I think about? Possibly the most famous jumper of all time.
Yeah.
Van Halen.
Michael Jordan?
No, the guy behind you over your shoulder, Mikey. Watch it on YouTube. Mario? Damn it.
Jumpman.
Every time.
Jumpman, yes.
Jumpman. No, Eddie Van Halen. Okay, Dario, I agree with you. I also, unlike the other person in the room, loved Batman as a kid. Loved Batman. But my version of Batman was not the version of Batman you get in this. I almost thought of the Batman movies. I liked them as a kid, but I also liked the Mario movie. With John Leguizamo as a kid, because I didn't know
Bob Hoskins.
I didn't know. Yeah, Bob Hoskins. Wait,
Bob Hoskins was Mario.
Wait,
John Leguizamo is Luigi.
Right. Sorry.
Don't worry.
Right.
It doesn't make more sense when I explain it out loud. It still doesn't make any sense, but just got to go with it.
Because
Chris Pratt
as a kid. Yeah. Oh no.
Who's playing Luigi in the new one?
Charlie Day.
Oh right.
Big cuck.
Big
cuck. Big cuck.
This is my thinking is I didn't really have taste as a kid for the movie, so I liked things like Mario and I liked things like the Batman movies. They were on the same page. Not to say the Batman movies were bad, but you gave me anything to show what I liked on the big screen, and I loved the spectacle and I was there for it. However, even though I liked the movie, it felt like something separate from Batman, just like Mario was separate from Mario, the movie.
Yeah.
So playing this game, I would have rather had it be like the TV show as opposed to the movie. So that nostalgia and that feeling like I'm playing the version of Batman that I like wouldn't be there. And you know how I know that? Because I played the game and I didn't want to play it anymore. It was cool cocoa bonking some clowns.
Yeah.
But as a kid, as Batman, I don't want to beat up dirty clowns. I want to do that in real life.
So if they're clean,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, okay.
100%.
Yeah,
I'm going to make them dirty.
Press
but
the
I
watch.
want to be the one to make them dirty.
I'm going to make you dirty. I'm going to rub your face in the dirt. Now leave. And they're going to ask you to leave my bed.
Now you're a tall clown.
So this one, it didn't leave that much of an impression on me as a kid, and I don't think it was Batman enough for me in the way I wanted it to be. It's a 2 out of 4 for me. As a child.
Full range. You got a 2, 2.5, and a 3. So canonically, that's a 4.5 out of 8. But altogether, so we're going to do it out of 12, is a 7.5 out of 12.
Nice.
Okay, so let's get into our modern day scores. Ooh, this is tough. This is tough. It is
that bell.
It's tough because what you talk about what is this game trying to do? What is a Batman game? It's a Batman game. I get that. I see Batman. He's doing Batman things. I get that. He's fighting clowns. So that's a typical Batman maneuver. But it is so small. It just feels small in general. And I know that the levels change. I did not enjoy that as much. The lack of consistency is only just showing that the limitations of each level to me. So I like the fact that it's like, oh, these are going to one punch and it's now 2. It's side scroll. Well, it's just showing you're like, oh wait, maybe I didn't like the first level as much as I thought too.
Right.
It almost brings the rest of it down with it. So I don't think it was fully successful. I'm not going to give it a great score, but but at the same time, it's charming because it's Batman. It goes back to the Pokemon Snap rule where you're like, I like Batman, so I like this part of it. I like the movie, so I like that part of it. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 4.
Nice. Dario?
Nice.
Yeah, you think so?
I think it's nice.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think I fall into the same camp of like the thing I like most about this game is the way it looks. I love the background with the Christmas tree and the giant statues.
Yes.
I love Batman, but I don't want to play this game.
Yeah.
I think it's like hard for the sake of being hard. And like, while I want to get to the level where I drive the Batmobile, it's like one of those things where if I make it halfway through stage 1 and I'm already, 3/4 of the way down my health, I'm like, well, I'm never going to make it. So fuck it. I'm going to give it a 1.5. I just don't want to play it.
No, I get it. It's and this is coming from a Batman fan. So I'm surprised.
No, but mine came from a Batman fan.
That's why yours is higher, because you don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't get it.
Oh, no, I think it's because I like Batman more.
I think you just don't understand. No, because then you go even higher, I think. It's just a very middling score.
I don't know, because you said you didn't like Batman Returns. Are you sure I'm not the biggest Batman fan?
I think you're overcompensating.
Yeah, I think...
Really? When you have a small peepee, so I've been told, you buy a bigger car. You have a small likeness for Batman, so you're like giving it a bigger score.
That's a good point.
So I should say, I hate Batman.
No, we know that, Andrew.
That's canon.
You've been telling us this whole time.
I can't win.
I'm just happy you finally admitted it. You should see my therapist. I've got a ring light for you.
With your shirt
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, when the camera turns on, I'm not wearing your shirt. Andrew, we talked about this. Can you please put on a shirt?
I've been referred by...
How's bathrobes? Bathrobes and candles okay? Mikey, what is your modern day?
I've been referred to you by Dr. Love. Oh, sorry, I mean Mikey.
Mikey lent me this kimono.
Only my friends with huge penises recommend therapists for me.
We've been talking about you a lot and huge penis. I hope she doesn't listen to this podcast. Nope. To get a better insight into my brain.
If she did, though, she wouldn't
would
need
know.
to ever meet you. She would go like, here's what's wrong with you.
Yeah. or the other way, you could log on to your next session and she could be in a come out now. It could work. You never know.
Right.
Got a
I like
50-50.
Well, no, because as soon as someone shows interest in me, I don't want them anymore.
I don't
tell them
think
to
it's
get
bed.
out of my bed.
Get out of the bed.
I also don't think it's 50-50.
That's how math works. It's either it happens or it's all binary.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's ones or zeros. Yeah, I guess so.
So I, you know what? When you look back at the plethora of these old school beat 'em up games, you like them for one of two reasons: for nostalgia or because you like old school beat 'em ups. Not an enormous fan of old school beat 'em ups. If I'm going left to right in a game, I'd like to be able to shoot. I'd like some power ups. I'd like some gadgets. Contra is more my speed. However, I go back and play something like Final Fight, a lot of nostalgia there. I'm in that moment to see all the levels that I saw and therefore get something out of it. The controls are kind of getting in my way of progressing, the lives, the continues, and all that sort of thing, but you deal with it. This is kind of the same way. The novelty of playing Batman wears off. I would love to fight the Penguin. I don't care about fighting Danny DeVito's Penguin. I would love to fight Catwoman, but you only get to do it for a brief time in this game.
Yeah.
Maybe I would have a better time if I'm going back to playing a beat 'em up game, playing something else like a Final Fight. Therefore, this one I think does not, and this is why my score is justified and Andrew's might not be. What
the hell?
It does not hold up the flag, and I know you'll agree with me on this one, Dario.
Always.
It does not hold up the flag of Batman the way that it should. It doesn't do enough to make you feel like Batman apart from looking like Batman, and sometimes that just ain't enough. I'm giving this one a 2 out of 4.
Okay, so 2 2s and a 1.5. That is together a 5.5 out of 12, but canonically a 4 out of 8. Oh, interesting. So canonically that will be, oh boy, give me a second, 7.5 out of 16. 7.5 out of 16, right?
8.5.
Okay, never mind. Don't mind me.
That is, I think, honestly, though, the first time you've gotten that wrong.
It was the 3 numbers that screwed me up. I started, it was beautiful minding all over here.
Wasn't that beautiful to the listener, Andrew?
Okay. You said the Batman flag is there a canon about a Batman flag that he like drives around with?
Yeah. It's the Canadian flag.
Yes.
He drove it
puts
all the way to
on the
Ottawa.
Batmobile and he goes down.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. The Batman must be in the playoffs every time I see him drive by. Okay. So interesting enough that I thought I went down with my retro to current and your retro to current went up. I found that to be very interesting. I thought you were going to go lower.
My retro to current stayed the same.
Stayed the same. I thought you were going to go lower. Excuse me. I thought you were going to go to 1.5.
No, because I liked the point that you said about how there was just, we were inundated with these older beat 'em up games back then. So I wouldn't have had any desire to play this one over Streets of Rage or Final Fight or any of those other beat 'em up games that I did play religiously.
Yeah.
But nowadays, because I'm somewhat removed from that genre and that style of game, it has a bit more of a novelty. However, if I'm rating it in the modern day against like some modern games, I also have the ability to play the current Streets of Rage, Streets of Rage 2, Final Fight, any of those ones.
Any
So
of the Batmans?
any other. Maybe, if I want my Batman fix, I'll play an Arkham game. Right?
Elden Ring. I can play anything.
No.
I'm an adult. Oh, yeah, no. Batman does not like Elden Ring. That's about fantasy. I don't like it.
It's about a fantasy. Well, I would like to fantasize about all the awards that this game has won. So let's have the band play us on, and then we can get to the awards ceremony.
Absolutely.
You've been waiting for it all year. The most glamorous award ceremony of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, the Grady's.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Incredible.
I mean, the sound of cameras. Beautiful.
The sound of cameras just beautiful this time of year. Wow. Everyone's out. All the stars are out. We have Robert Pattinson here. We have, of course, producer Elliot.
Yes.
Somehow bumping Zoe Kravitz out of the way, but that's fine.
Producer Elliot wearing just a chest plate with nipples and nothing else. Nothing else.
It's incredibly ripped body. He doesn't need the chest plate, right?
And Lenny Kravitz pants post bust out.
With the scarf.
The scarf that Benedict Cumberbatch used in Power of the Dog.
Lenny could have just been like, I'll fix them for you. He's like, no, I want them like this.
I want to let it hang. Swang.
I'm hanging dong on the red carpet here.
Oh God, where'd you put that scarf in your pants? That's how it uses the scarf now.
Weirdest thing is it's hanging upside down, his penis. I didn't realize his balls were on the top.
Weird. Oh, weird thing to add to the canon of producer Elliot.
I've never seen that before.
Oh, wow. Like a bat hanging upside down. Wow.
Holy moly.
Oh, my goodness. Well, okay, Elliot, I don't know where the hell you're keeping the envelope.
Elliot, when you read off the awards that this game won, can you do a handstand to make us all feel a bit more comfortable?
Oh, that's the way it's supposed to be. I like that.
Save
There you
the
go.
butt
American
skin
way.
for next time. Yeah.
Elliot, why don't you reach into that weird sack of yours and pull out the envelope and let us know what awards this
Not
is.
that's a testy. To put it envelope.
Never gonna look at Santa the same way.
Oh, wow.
That's too bad.
I mean,
You know what? It kind of hurts me to know that this game doesn't win anything because you'd want them to take a big enough swing.
You okay over there?
Just the idea of an upside.
It's a visual. It's a visual.
that looks like an upside down dingo.
Yeah. I wanted more. I wanted more out of this, and it's a
Yeah.
little disappointing. But obviously, since it didn't win any awards from the Academy, we got to get the some envelopes. Elliot's passing them out to all of ours,
Okay.
and we got to.
Good. So we're gonna give some awards specific to this game alone.
Yes.
I'll go first. Okay. This is the Falling Pearls Award.
Oh,
Again.
It's because it was kind of disappointing, just like the death of Martha and Thomas Wayne. Kind of disappointing. Well, kind of because he was very sad, but also we got one of the greatest heroes because of it too.
Oh, right, Joker.
Yeah.
Or Joe Chill. Sorry, Joe Chill.
Mad Hatter.
Definitely Joe Chill. Definitely Joe Chill. All right, I'll go with my award here. Pulling this up, and it is the Wine Enterprises, because this game's not that good.
Oh no! Oh, that classical word. Oh my god! All right, Dario.
I will go. Let's open this up here.
Yeah.
Oh, we have the Swampy Award.
Oh.
Which is dedicated to the game that should have been Shrek instead. I wish it was Shrek.
Donkey.
Oh, I was thinking Max Shrek Business Development Tycoon.
No.
That was an advertisement for Shrek.
I'm sorry. It was green.
It was a long con. Yeah.
It was green.
They're like, one day Mike Myers is going to blow your mind.
Well, okay, wait a second. Batman Returns come out what, early 90s?
Yeah, 90,
Shrek comes out in
92,
1990, like 7 or
That's
something.
what I say.
like that.
It was a long play.
Oh, wait, you didn't have to wait that long though. I thought it was gonna be like 12 years. No.
Oh, you're saying Shrek wasn't a success because of this plan?
Okay, wait a second.
What you're not putting into play is Shrek, the businessman, falls into a swamp like that, turns into Shrek.
Oh. That sounds like a Solomon Grundy situation.
Yeah.
Because that's how Solomon Grundy turned into Solomon Grundy. He got hung. That's why he's got the noose.
Right.
Tossed into a swamp.
Did it also make him Scottish?
Grundy. Born on a Monday.
That was better than I thought you were gonna do.
Yeah,
So
that was really
congratulations. Oh, so
Hey, back to the New York.
Get out of my bedroom, will you?
oh god. Well, those are the awards we're gonna give Batman Returns. Amazing. So Dario, any closing thoughts on this game? Any closing thoughts on Batman in general?
It is crazy to me. I thought this was a bit. So when I walked in here, I don't know if any of you viewers have seen Mikey's apartment. Hopefully you will one day.
Yeah, and then you got to get the fuck out.
Get out. I thought it was a bit. When I walked in, he has a Batman balloon.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's for the show. This is nice. Do you see a fucking balloon? No, that's just a regular house balloon. And we were walking up the stairs, and there's a Batman chew toy for the dog.
Yes.
Beautiful. I love it. We walk in this room. There's
Pez dispenser over there.
There's a Batman, I think homemade picture.
It's a bunch of scenes from comic pages cut out and like paper mached together.
Did you
as
do
a
that?
collage? No, a friend of my sister's did that actually.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's decor. We're going to show it on the show. We didn't. The best one is by the trash can. Just on the floor is what Andrew was showing now. Just a Batman Pez dispenser. There's also
on the ground.
a Batman wallpaper on the computer. And
Yes.
none of that was talked about.
No.
And I thought it was all like set up because like we're doing the Batman
Every
show,
week
all this stuff.
we get a new balloon,
Just things.
we get a new chew toy, new Pez dispenser.
I'm telling you, I really like Batman.
I don't doubt it now.
No,
I
almost
love
yeah.
it.
I
Gonna come up in your therapy session.
recently someone saw I had these socks on and they had little martini glasses on and they were like, oh, that's funny, you got little martini glasses on your socks. And I said, yeah, I don't like them as much as my Batman socks though.
Like a child.
And then she put her clothes back on and was like, well, I'm going to go now.
Yeah. Now I got to get the fuck out of here.
Man, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes,
Dario,
of
also
course.
a DJ in your own right. Do you have somewhere you want to send people to check out your music?
I have a SoundCloud. It's Brains for Breakfast on SoundCloud.
Spelled?
There's no vowels in the breakfast.
And it's a number 4?
What did you say to me?
It's a number 4?
It's brains, spell it out, 4, the number, and then breakfast, no vowels in it. Cool guy stuff. I haven't updated it in years. Haven't been DJing as much. Some stuff has been going on with contagious things.
Oh, yeah, right. No, yeah.
Haven't been dipping my toe, but we'll be back for our first gig March 31st, which is a Thursday at Track and Field.
Oh,
where this young man,
yes,
depending on how is working,
Hell yeah.
and a bar also owned by Toronto legend
Jesse Ward. Yeah, I know. So that's
amazing.
exciting. It's all staying within the family here. So Dario, when we were doing a Batman week, we couldn't think of anyone better to have on but you. So thank you so much for coming on.
You're very welcome.
Michael Keaton wasn't available.
I heard.
And Heath Ledger didn't return my calls.
And that Eddie guy wasn't getting back to you. That fucking.
So that guy didn't come either. So yes, thank you so much for doing it. We love you, and we love every single one of you, and we can't wait to talk to you soon. My name is Andrew Bascom, and with me as always is the bad boy of podcasting, Mr. Bebop himself,
Mikey Aaronworth.
This is the Retrograde Podcast.
Game over. Want more Retrograde in your life? You can visit our website for show notes at theretrogradepod.com. Follow us on Twitter at Retrograde Mikey, at Retrograde Andy, and the podcast at Retrograde Pod.
Or Instagram at the Retrograde Podcast.
For bonus episodes, check us out at patreon.com/the Podcast.
Send your questions and business inquiries to the retrogradepodcast at gmail.com.
See you next week, D-pads.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
I've returned.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what I say when I climax.
Yes.